So, you want to make a stellar comedy, huh? Cool, but first you're going to need a stellar cast. Having a great cast is one of the most important things you can have in your film, but in comedy it's an even bigger deal. A great cast can seriously make or break your comedy like that.
We're the three best friends that anybody could have. We're the three best friends that anyone could have. We're gonna do things all the time together. Just because we're not on a bachelor party doesn't mean that we can't hang out.
And it's not just about having actors that your audience will recognize or whoever made their studio most dough in the box office last week, but that is part of it. No matter how famous the actor you cast, if he doesn't fit the part or if he's not funny, forget about him. This is how to cast a modern-day comedy film. The most bankable comedy actors in today's films include Will Ferrell, James Franco, Ryan Reynolds, and lately, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But like I said before, it's not just about finding the most famous or the most bankable cast in Hollywood at a particular time. Great casting is just that, because the actor fits the character that the writer had in mind when he wrote each of their stories. The first step in casting your protagonist is to define the type of comedy that your story is going for. Not every actor works for every type of comedy. Will Ferrell and James Franco, for example, are very rarely cast in the same film because they each typically play off different types of comedy. Will Ferrell often plays the man-child character, and his movies are generally very immature. Franco is generally cast in more sophisticated types of comedy. When you're first casting your protagonist, a good idea is to go through your screenplay and write down a list of character traits that your protagonist conveys, and also list out any other important factors such as age or height if relevant to the story. So here in the example we have witty, goal-oriented, and smooth talker. To me this sounds most obviously like Vince Vaughn, but take a step back and realize that this could just as easily be Seth MacFarlane, or maybe even Anthony Mackie. Any of these actors would work according to the screenplay, but now it's time to get creative and pick which one you would like most to see cast in the role. Each actor is going to play the part differently. Visualize what this will look like. Maybe watch some of these actors' films to judge whether or not they may fit the role. Cool, so the next step you want to complete in casting your comedy is to find your secondary character. This guy is basically the protagonist's sidekick. These guys are super important to have in comedies to give your main guy someone to talk to and shoot funny lines back and forth with. Guys like Zach Galifianakis, Seth Rogen, and John C. Reilly are great at playing this part, but if you're looking to be a bit more original in your film, you may want to cast some lesser known actors. It's said that today's television actors are the stars of tomorrow's big screen comedies, and it's definitely true in many cases. Another trick you'll see in some comedies used to make your cast that much more unique is casting non-comedy actors as side characters for your comedy film. I'm thinking of actors such as Olivia Munn in Office Christmas Party and Jason Statham in Spy. That film sucks, by the way. Ultimately, however, when casting your secondary character, the most important thing is that they complement your protagonist and have great chemistry with them. Some actor duos have such noteworthy chemistry that they are cast over and over again. Duos like James Franco and Seth Rogen, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Each of these comedy duos have a very natural comedic bond that gets them casted in the same films again and again. The third step is casting your protagonist's love interest and the antagonist. I've combined these two into one step because depending on your story, either one may be more important. You may not even have a love interest in your comedy, but if you do, the love interest needs to have a natural connection with your protagonist. And just like in real life, I don't believe there's any one rule of thumb in casting a love interest that will have natural chemistry with your protagonist, so be creative. With the antagonist also, rules will vary a lot depending on the type of story you're telling. Though you may not think the antagonist is an important character to have in a comedy film, just remember, comedies need conflict too. In fact, it's that conflict that often incites most of the jokes. Although there's definitely comedies out there that don't have an embodied antagonist, most do. Is your antagonist goofy, like in the film Dodgeball, a true underdog story, or is he more evil, like in the film A Million Ways to Die in the West? Note that even in the case of A Million Ways to Die in the West, where we come to absolutely hate the antagonist, he is still a very humorous character and we enjoy watching him fail. Cool, so now we have our main body of actors casted for our comedy feature. Of course, from here, different stories will feature different sets of main characters, but almost all will feature the characters that we discussed today. It should also be noted that there are comedies out there that don't really have one main character, but rather an ensemble of characters, like in the Hangover franchise. Congratulations, you now have an awesomely casted comedy that, by today's standards, will get your film into movie theaters no matter how awful the script is. Now all you have to do is pay them.